Picture this. A pope, the leader of over 1 billion Catholics worldwide, decides his final resting place won't be among the grand tombs of St. Peter's Basilica, surrounded by centuries of tradition. No gilded crypt, no marble sarcophagus beneath the Vatican. Instead, he's chosen a simple spot outside those sacred walls, a decision that's left the world buzzing. Why would Pope Francis, a man who's already shaken up the church with bold moves, want to break one of its oldest traditions when he dies? Is this a humble farewell, a radical statement, or something deeper? Stay with me for the next hour as we unravel the mystery behind this unprecedented choice, and trust me, it's a story you won't see coming.
Before we delve in deeper, please take 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to our channel to stay updated on similar videos. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Back to our discussion.
Let's start with the man himself. Pope Francis, born Jorge Mario Bergoglio in Argentina in 1936, isn't your typical pontiff. From the moment he stepped onto the balcony of St. Peter's in 2013, he signaled change. He ditched the fancy red shoes for plain black ones, swapped the papal palace for a modest guest house, and even paid his own hotel bill after his election. This is a guy who's never been about the pomp and circumstance. He's the first Jesuit pope, the first from the Americas, and at 88 years old as of March 2025, he's still making waves despite battling health challenges like double pneumonia that landed him in the hospital for weeks this year. But here's the kicker. In late 2023, he dropped a bombshell. He revealed he's already prepared his own tomb, not in the Vatican, where popes have been buried for centuries, but at the Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore, a church across town in Rome. It's a decision that sparked headlines, debates, and a whole lot of speculation. So, why does this matter? To understand, we've got to dig into the tradition he's breaking and what it says about him. Popes have been buried in St. Peter's Basilica for over 1,500 years. It's practically sacred ground zero for the Catholic Church. Think about it. Beneath that massive dome lie the remains of St. Peter himself, Jesus' right-hand man, the first pope according to tradition. Over time, it became the place for pontiffs to rest. Walk through the Vatican grottos today, and you'll see rows of tombs, some simple, some extravagant housing names like John Paul II, Pius XII, and Benedict XVI. It's a who's who of Catholic history, a physical timeline of the papacy etched in stone. This isn't just about logistics, it's symbolism. Being buried in St. Peter's ties a pope to the legacy of Peter, to the heart of the church. It's a way of saying, I belong here with the shepherds who came before me. For centuries, only a handful of popes broke this mold, and even then, it was rare. So when Francis says, nah, I'm goo, I'll be over at Santa Maria Maggiore, it's not just a quirky choice. It's a deliberate rejection of that legacy, or at least a reimagining of it. But why this church? And why now? Hold that thought, we're getting there. Let's talk about this new resting place, the Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore. It's one of Rome's 4 major basilicas, steeped in history and devotion. Legend says it was built in the 5th century after the Virgin Mary appeared in a dream, telling a guy to build a church where snow fell in August. Spoiler, it did, and the basilica was born. Today, it's a stunning place, golden mosaics, ancient columns, and a vibe that's less touristy than St. Peter's, but just as holy. Francis has a special connection here. He said it's his favorite church in Rome, Every time he travels abroad, he stops by to pray before the icon of Mary, Salus Populi Romani, Savior of the Roman people. It's personal for him. He's called Mary his mother, and as a Jesuit, he's got a deep devotion to her. So choosing this spot isn't random, it's intimate. But there's more. Santa Maria Maggiore isn't tied to the bureaucracy of the Vatican. It's a place of the people, less about power and more about faith. Is Francis signaling he wants to be remembered as a pastor, not a prince? Let's explore that. If you followed Pope Francis, you know humility is his brand. This is the guy who washes the feet of prisoners, hugs the marginalized, and rails against the excesses of wealth even within the church. Burying himself in St. Peter's might feel too grand, too tied to the trappings he's spent his papacy pushing against. Think about it. Those Vatican tombs? Some are decked out with gold and marble, screaming prestige. Francis, though, he's all about simplicity. Back in 2023, when he announced this, he said he wanted a simpler burial. No big ceremonies, no fuss, just a wooden coffin and a quiet spot. It's classic Francis, rejecting the spotlight, even in death. But there's a twist. Some say this choice reflects his outsider status. He's never fully fit the mold of a Roman insider. He's from Argentina, not Europe, a Jesuit, not a traditional cleric. Could this be his final way of saying, "I did it my way"? Maybe. But there's another layer here, one that's got people whispering about reform. Francis has spent 12 years shaking up the Catholic Church. He's pushed for inclusivity, think his outreach to LGBTQ plus Catholics, or his calls for mercy over judgment. He's tackled clerical abuse, reformed Vatican finances, and even approved blessings for same-sex couples in 2023, which sent traditionalists into a tailspin. But he's also faced pushback. Hardcore conservatives call him a heretic. Progressives say he doesn't go far enough. So, this burial choice? Some see it as a metaphor. By stepping outside the Vatican walls, is he signaling the church should look beyond its own bubble out to the world? To the margins? Santa Maria Maggiore isn't just a church, it's in a bustling part of Rome, surrounded by everyday life. Compare that to the Vatican, a walled-off city-state. Maybe Francis wants his death to echo his life, a call to break down barriers. It's a stretch, sure, but with this Pope, nothing's off the table. And speaking of death, let's talk about how he's faced it head-on. Here's something wild. Francis has been upfront about death for years. Back in 2014, just a year into his papacy, he told reporters he didn't expect to live long 2 or 3 years, tops. Then off to the house of the Father, he said, laughing, he's not afraid of it. In 2021, he even invited a journalist to dig into papal health history, spilling details about his own lung surgery as a young man. And in 2025, as he's battled pneumonia, he's kept the world updated, almost like he's demystifying the process. This openness ties into his burial choice. Tradition hides papal deaths behind secrecy, think hushed conclaves and sealed tombs. Francis? He's flipping the script. By planning his tomb now outside the Vatican, he's taking control of his legacy. No surprises, no grandeur, just a man ready to meet his maker on his terms. But what does this mean for the future of the papacy? That's where it gets juicy. If Francis pulls this off, he's setting a precedent. Future popes might think, hey, I don't have to be buried in St. Peter's either. It could loosen the grip of tradition, making the papacy more flexible, more human. Imagine a pope from Africa choosing a village church, or one from Asia, picking a temple site. It's a small crack in the armor of a 2,000-year-old institution, but cracks can grow. And then there's the timing. As of March 2025, Francis is 88 and frail. His recent hospital stay had the world on edge. Doctors only just declared him out of imminent danger last week. Cardinals are already whispering about successors. Will his burial choice inspire a new kind of leader, one less tied to Rome's old ways? Or will it fade as a quirky footnote? Either way, it's got us talking, and that's exactly what Francis loves to do. Stir the pot, even from beyond the grave. So, why does Pope Francis want to break tradition when he dies? It's not just about a tomb. It's about a man who spent his life challenging the status quo, whether it's washing feet, embracing the outcast, or picking a humble grave. Santa Maria Maggiore isn't just a resting place. It's a statement. Faith over power, simplicity over splendor, the people over the palace. Is it radical? Maybe. Is it him? Absolutely. Thanks for sticking with me. What do you think, humble move or hidden message? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button if you enjoyed this deep dive, and subscribe for more stories that make you think. Until next time, keep questioning, and I'll see you in the comments.